All right, Frank. So we are about actually we're less than a week away from our strategic leadership panel event next Tuesday, May 2nd, downtown Grand Rapids, 8:30 to 10:30 in the morning. We're going to have a room full of individuals, up to probably 25 or close to 30 individuals next week, coming together to talk about leadership, inclusive leadership, new ideas, to network, to brainstorm, right, and to help hopefully work together as a cohesive group to just talk through this and some of the big issues and challenges that all of us as leaders in different roles and industries are faced with every single day. So, Frank, maybe if you don't mind, to kind of kick us off, for those who are already attending or perhaps plan to attend the event next week, what should I be expecting? Hey, if I'm in the audience, what should I expect to walk away with? What am I getting into here?
Yeah, Zach, thank you for asking. I think it's going to be a great day, right? So the first thing you should expect is to be engaged. It's going to be a very engaging event. If you look at the panel here, these individuals, I'm going to talk a little bit about them in a moment, but they're very engaged individuals. And then so we're gonna have some teed up questions for them on basically how to start a business, how to exit a business, how to grow a business. What are some of the challenges and roadblocks that businesses have from a financial standpoint, from an operational standpoint, from a leadership standpoint. And so these individuals are going to answer those questions, and they work every day in businesses. They've owned businesses. So there's a lot of intellectual capital in that room, and you can expect to walk away with having some key nuggets on how to grow yourself and grow your business.
Yeah. So perfect, Frank. Let's talk about the panel members for a minute here too, because not only are they gracing us with their time and presence and their intellectual capital, right? But there's some folks here that you've got, relationships north of 20 years of experience who have been through it all, right? They've started business, they've transitioned businesses, they've started other businesses, right? There's a lot of leadership dynamics that come with this group. Maybe talk to us a little bit more specifically about the panel members. And again, if I'm an audience member, what can I expect to get out of the panel? Can I have side conversations with them? How do I relate to their situations as well? So what can we expect from those panel members?
Absolutely, Zach. Well, the first thing is when you look at the panel, it's a very diverse panel, right? From age to gender, to ethnicity. It's just a very diverse panel. And the first thing I would want to point out is we'll have to talk about Jessica Starks here. So Jessica was basically a CPA, very detail oriented, knows numbers, knows businesses, knows balance sheets, knows P&Ls, and then took that acumen and actually went into the what we call the M&A space, mergers and acquisitions. And she's a broker for Trans World Business Advisors. So she understands what it takes to perpetuate a business. And you and I can both probably attest this right now. When we meet with privately held companies, man, most of them don't even have a succession plan. Mm-hmm. So she's going to talk about some of those things and give some. Number two is you have Clarkston Morgan. Clarkston, he's actually a city commissioner. He works for Crow right now. He's an ambassador to different types of consultants. He helps the youth, the inner city. And he's just a very, very intelligent individual that understands business. He went to the University of Michigan, which go blue. He's a smart individual there. So he'll be on that panel. And then you got Nevin Gross. I've known Nevin for roughly 20 years. And his backstory is, he went to the University of Michigan to basically on an athletic scholarship, left there, took over a family business that was roughly $15 to $20 million in top line gross revenue. It was a fairly large manufacturing facility on the southeast side of Grand Rapids. And then he also, if you're not familiar with this, he started a PEO, right? He started a company that actually deals with HR and your workers' compensation and your payrolls. And so he started a company there. And then now what he does is he works for ROCG Americas and travels around the world and works with privately held companies. Ranging from probably just a few million to hundreds of millions of dollars. He sits on several boards throughout the United States, so that's huge. And then the fourth individual there is Vincent. Prometheus Partners, he actually was one of the founders of Exit Planning Institute. And when you want to talk about strategy, strategic planning, and leadership, and someone that understands how to develop a team of individuals to help you transact your business, Vincent's your guy. So I think it's a well-rounded panel. And then we got you, Zach. I'll brag about you for a moment. Like when you think about your experience of working with hundreds of agencies, commercial insurance agencies, and then before that, working with Penske and other organizations and being a coach and an executive, right, developing your own business, and you have a flavor of fun about you, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Frank. And I think I'm excited too, just from a panel member perspective. We get to hear their stories, we get to hear their insight, their views, right? And I think what's great about what we've built here within the panel members themselves is we're going to get different perspectives of depending on where each of us are as leaders individually on our own kind of leadership journey, right? He can help give their perspective, their challenges, maybe some of the solutions they tried, some that worked, some that didn't, right? And I think that goes back to, Frank, the core reason as to why we put this event together, right, was to just get a group of leaders together to have this meaningful dialogue, to have these conversations, knowing that maybe there's not one silver bullet answer. Well, I think we could all say there's definitely not one silver bullet answer, right? So, okay, what can we try? What can we do? How do we approach our situations a little differently? And I think, maybe to wrap this conversation up, Frank, the one other component that we haven't talked about for this event is yourself. And you're actually going to be speaking on kind of what we're calling the 6 C's of inclusive leadership. And you've dropped a little bit. If you follow Frank on social media, you've seen some of the nuggets and some of the components of what he's talking about. You'll see those throughout the rest of this week as well. But maybe, Frank, if you don't mind, give us a high level overview of what are you going to be discussing? How do we apply it? Right. And again, from an expectation side, hey, what am I getting into on the audience end?
Absolutely. Thanks, Zach. Well, I would tell you right now, the first thing is when you talk about leadership, it's such a broad topic. And I mean, you can read tons of books on it and listen to podcasts and whatnot. But leadership is a skill. It's a skill of positively influencing others to lead and set goals and inspire and help change and develop people. And when we talk about those 6 traits, we're going to actually dive deeper in them. We're going to give an assessment to those that are there to get them to understand where they at in their leadership journey. And then we're going to talk about the diverse ways to implement their leadership styles. So when we start out the event, it's going to be a working group, which, I'm a big fan of people rolling their sleeves up and, getting in the trenches. Then we're going to talk about those 6 principles. I've already posted 2 of them, one on courage and one on commitment, but we're going to get into some of these other ones on collaboration and cultural intelligence and curiosity and the cognizance in your head, right? There's cognitive dissonance going on right now in today's society. So we're going to talk about that. And then from there, follow up, we're going to offer some personal kind of assessment, coaching, stack ranking on how they ranked with others in the room and how they can improve and put a plan in place going forward.
Perfect. So again, we're less than a week away, Tuesday, May 2nd, downtown Grand Rapids. We're already got a full room. We have a few remaining seats open. I'm sure we can squeeze some people in if there's some interest out there that you want to come be a part of this. Again, it's a free event. We're not trying to charge for this. We're not trying to generate revenue. This is just an opportunity to drive conversation and discussion around some of the most pressing topics that a lot of us are faced with, regardless of industry, regardless of stature, regardless of how long you've been in the role. These challenges are there. They're prevalent. We're all working through them. So, hey, let's try and figure out a way to work through them together. So if you're registered, we're excited to see you next week. Again, if you haven't yet, but you got time, Tuesday, May 2nd, 8:30 to 10:30, downtown Grand Rapids. We'd love to see you there.